Well, hi everybody. I'm back doing a video on some SJWs around in the YouTube community because I was on SJW Sci-Fi Nation's channel talking about some stuff, and he had some guests on, which one of them was Soy Nerd Tube, where we was talking about like subjects and that seemed alright, but then we got onto the subjects of America having guns, where I was saying that it's best for Americans to have guns because you can skip from state to state real easy and start up another life. And so there's a lot of crazy people in America, where Sci-Fi Nation agreed and that with the skipping state to state laws. Then Soy Nerd Tube sort of changed the conversation to the Mexican border, saying that the Mexican border's real safe and that, and America doesn't have to worry about it. Where Sci-Fi agreed with him in that, and like I obviously disagreed, but I didn't say. And then Soy Nerd Tube says like the KKK is a bigger problem than having the Mexico border, like getting millions of immigrants passing through, and with the law of Title 42 being abolished now, so any immigrants crossing the border are allowed to stay in America, and there's like loads piling in and that. Well, anyway, I disagreed with the border problem, and then I definitely disagreed with the KKK being a big problem, because I said, oh no, there's about 300 of them, which I'll play now to show you.
The thing of all with America is you can skip states real fucking easy. Where in the UK you have to get out of the country.
Yeah, we don't need to say papers, please. We don't have this shit.
Yeah, and so that's why anyone can just come into your state and just fucking do what they like.
And it don't matter what fucking state you come from. You can go state to state, all 50 states. It don't matter what the fuck the laws are in your state, as long as you apply to our laws in this state. Even if
so there's a lot of crazy fuckers in America that can just commit a crime.
Go and do crazy shit.
Yeah, and then just go to another state and live like normally. Like, oh yeah, hi.
Oh yeah, nothing around here, buddy.
It's so bizarre because so many Americans are worried about people crossing the border and
I don't worry about. You know what I worry about most? People crossing state lines. Fuck the borders. The border's safe.
Yeah,
fuck the border.
I'm
worried about motherfuckers coming from
get to
the
my point.
south, where the gun laws are so lax, they can come up here and fuck with my. That's what I'm worried.
You guys are so worried about terrorists and
no, I'm not. You know what I'm worried about?
Not you, but I'm talking about like
more worried. I'll tell you what I'm worried about.
Like MAGA heads.
They're worried
about Mexicans and Latinos.
No.
I'm not saying not you are. But I'm just saying, but you got the fucking Ku Klux Klan in your country.
Fuck the KKK.
There's about 300.
No, there's more than that, dude.
So I'll say there's only about 300 of them. Well, Soy Nerd Tube, he disagrees in that, says about the Aryan Brotherhood, which I didn't even know they still existed. I didn't even know there was around. But there's Black Aryan Brotherhood, so they just cancel each other out. And then he talks about the Proud Boys, where the leader of the Proud Boys was a Mexican. So I call him out saying, well, if white supremacy is so good, then how come they're in white supremacy chart music? And then I just call him out for being a CNN viewer, which he kicks off. He doesn't like about that.
There's about 300.
There's more than that, dude. White supremacy is on the rock. In America, you've got the Aryan Brotherhood. You've got the Proud Boys. You've got so many. You've got so many white supremacist groups in America. It's a fucking joke.
How come you haven't got white supremacy music hitting the charts? If it's so fucking popular.
Because America's I'm more worried, dude. I'm more worried about people.
No, you'll be watching so much CNN, you.
No, I don't watch fucking CNN, dude. America itself, they called it the land of the free. They enslaved Africans when they fucking on the streets of the country.
You know.
So I say that whites are going to be the minority in America, where Soy Nerd Tube really shows his colours here, where he says he don't give a fuck and that. Says that America was never a white country, meaning native Indians. But I give him a history lesson, telling him, like, in them days, there was no sort of, like, well, I don't go into detail, obviously, but say people was invading countries, and I didn't go into all this sort of, like, technical, like, Indian tribes, like, taking out other Indian tribes, so, like, well, anyway, then, like, Soy Nerd Tube says it's not a white country, and Europe's a white country, so he thinks everyone should from America go to Europe. Then he says, like, whites, if they are the minority, is that a problem, so they can't order people who are not white around? Well, the only place I know where lighter skinned people can order darker skinned people around is in India, where Soy Nerd Tube has his origins. So, well, anyway, I'll play it.
You know, white people in America, they're going to be like a majority.
Minority or majority?
Minority.
But dude, America's not a white country. It belongs to the Native Americans. So who gives a fuck?
It was never a white country.
How many Native Americans?
It was never a white country. It was never a white country to begin with. So who gives a fuck?
Yeah, but there was a lot of countries that got invaded. I think you'll find in history.
Yeah, but who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, so was Germany. It was invaded by Chinese.
Europe is the white world, yeah. America isn't. North America, generally, even like countries like Argentina, which are full of white people too. You got places like Australia and shit. Like these are not their fucking country. Even though somehow people have been brainwashed to believe it is their fucking country, it isn't. Who gives a fuck if white people end up being a minority? Why are you so worried about that?
Who gives a fuck?
Unless you think you like treating minorities who are not white like shit, then you would be worried about being a minority yourself.
Why would there be a big, massive, like, according to you, white supremacy if they're a majority?
Why it's not the majority, dude. They're not the minority.
Yes, why the fuck are you even on about this?
So, sci-fi starts asking me why am I going on about it and that. And like, oh, well, I'm telling the truth and that, but they don't like it and that. So I'm just basically telling them that white supremacists are not a major problem for America. In fact, there's hardly enough of them to even get marches going, apart from if the FBI glowies. Well, sci-fi says, do you live here in that? Where I say no, but I know enough about America to know what's happening and that, because I watch a lot of YouTube and that. Well, they both call me sort of like facetious and that, which is a bit of a cheat considering fucking Soy Nerd Tube. He lives in the UK, and Sci-Fi Nation, even though he does live in America, he fucking doesn't know what the fuck's going on in his country. Well, anyway, I like to say about if there's so much white supremacy, why aren't they marching as much? Well, Soy Nerd Tube says about the Tiki Talk sort of group that are FBI glowies, and they call themselves Patreon Front, and that's how well known they are, how a big threat. He doesn't even know what they call themselves. And then he goes on about the Proud Boys and Nick Fuentes. Well, I call the FBI glowies out and that, saying, like, when they shot a photo, they had a woman in it, and it was just, oh, this is FBI glowies because white supremacists don't have women, sort of thing. Well, anyway, he didn't get it and that, but he didn't want to call out the FBI glowies and that. He couldn't even defend that. So he changed the subject to the civil rights era, where talking about blacks and whites segregation. Well, I said that doesn't happen now, which, to be fair, he did admit, yeah, it does not happen now. And then Sci-Fi Nation just sort of cut me off. And like put me in the back, where he admits it.
Yeah, so why the fuck are you even on about this? Seriously, why the fuck are you even on about it?
Because there ain't any white supremacists in America.
Do you live here? Do you live here?
No. Not as
Do you live here?
I mean,
Do you live here? Do you deal with this shit day in and day out? Yes or no?
Yeah, because I.
No, you don't. You don't deal with it.
I listen to you getting fucking mugged. I listen to fucking other
you don't.
Americans saying,
No,
like,
you
no, you
don't.
can't go for
You're
fucking.
you're being a thing, yeah.
You're being facetious.
Alright, well.
That's like me saying, oh yes, I fucking deal with what the fucking crown decides day in and day out in Yorkshire.
Well, if you don't think you can have an opinion on things, then
Now,
I don't want to hear you talking about anything about England.
We have Commonwealth law, yes, we have Commonwealth law.
You're not in.
That's not what you're saying.
I know what America's like. And America is not full of fucking white supremacists. Because how many white supremacy marches?
I didn't say that. You did.
Mate, even during Trump's presidency, you had those guys with tiki torches going, Jews will not replace us. You got the Proud Boys who are fucking well-known white supremacists as well. You got Nick Fuentes starting a new movement in America of white supremacy. It's happening. The Republican Party is basically white with fucking black dots. You know what I mean?
Right. Let me answer your first one.
Well, yeah. Hopefully you answer it the right way. I'm gonna fucking put you in the basement if you don't. So you better answer.
If you don't understand how the CIA glowies all dressed the same, and they had a woman there.
What the hell? A woman and mate.
Yeah, exactly.
Ridiculous.
So the one who's
That's kind of been around for a long time.
Not the picture. The one who be white supremacists, but as we know, only males.
The civil rights era, mate. The civil rights era ended 67 years ago. That's still in people's lifetimes. That means that people who are old enough to remember when there were water fountains for white people and black people, separate ones. You know what I mean? That still existed in that particular period. You know, racism is still very much alive in the United States.
Now.
Of course not. Yeah, what happened to him?
No, he went in the basement. What the fuck? Seriously?
So yeah, Soy fucking Fire Nation fucking booted me off because I was laying too many truth bombs down. Because this is what I was gonna explain to them, but they didn't want to hear it. I was like, the Tiki Torchers, who are known as Patreon Front, they're a bunch of FBI glowies, which this picture shows you, where they've got a black dude and a woman. When do you see a black dude and a woman in a white supremacist leader group? FBI glowies. Then the Proud Boys, where the leader, I thought he was half Mexican, but he looked a bit black. Could be black Mexican, I don't know. But anyway, he's definitely not white. So, how dedicated is he to the cause of white nationalism? And then goes on about Nick Fuentes, who he's just about America first. So how racist is that? It's not white America first, it's just America first. So there's the white supremacy that he was fucking claiming was a threat. And as I say, once I call the FBI glowies out, I just got fucking kicked off by Sci-Fi Nation because of protecting his SJW soy nerd tuber. But anyway, they go on when I get kicked off, and then soy nerd tuber goes straight to, oh, I'm an ethnic minority, which is like surprising considering when it's white Americans being the minority, he couldn't give a fuck. But when he's an ethnic minority, oh, you've got to fucking give him a lot of fucking praise and sympathy and listen to what he says. Soyned bitch. And then he was talking about people don't want to hear about racism and it doesn't exist. No, it does exist, because if you see the knockout game, yeah, there is racists out there, but there's not a big amount of racist white folk. Not enough. There's so little that the FBI glowies have to fucking pretend to be fucking white nationalists. That's how fucking little white nationalism there is. Well, anyway. Then they both claim that I upset them. Well, it was the truth that upset them, but apparently I was being a bit fucking naive, apparently. And then Soyned Tube talks about Obama having a monkey meme, which, wow, yeah, fucking hell. There's your white nationalists fucking putting memes out. Oh, how many black people are going to die through that? But anyway, then he says, like, Trump got elected because he went through one fucking extreme to another, where it must have been, the extreme of, like, everyone loves black people to then everyone hates them. I don't know where he's going with that. But then he claims that he saw one guy, he says, who said that he couldn't vote for a black man for president. Just one guy who won't vote for Obama for being president, and a monkey meme is the fucking level of fucking white supremacy. Well, anyway, then he goes on about the National Front, which is a British sort of racist group that they haven't been any significance since the 90s. By the late 80s, I think they all sort of like started taking ecstasy, and then no one ever heard of the National Front. Well, anyway, then he goes on about Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, being a racist, probably because he did Brexit. Then, like, Soifar leaves because fucking his connection's a bit dodgy, I think. And then, this is where you know Soy Nerd Tube is a fucking deluded fucking CNN propaganda fucking lunatic. Because he goes on about agents of white supremacy, where he names Candace Owens. Where, if you know about Candace Owens, she's not a white supremacy, even though she's married to a white dude. But Candace Owens just wants the border securing, and she wants the black people to get out of the Democrat fucking plantation voting system. And so now she's a white nationalist. So then he reads out my comment where I said the truth is upsetting soy, and he reads it out, asking if it meant for him. And of course it was meant for you. You said I upset you because I was telling the truth about the border and how white supremacy is not a major problem. But Soy Nerd. Then Soy Nerd Tube sort of like realises he's by himself, doesn't know how to fucking host a show, and leaves. Where there's dead air for about 5 minutes or whatever, and then Sci-Fi pops back on.
Seriously. Honestly, I can't stand. As somebody who's an ethnic minority myself, when I'm trying to explain racism to people and they just don't want to hear it, like it doesn't fucking exist, it's very upsetting because they just.
He was upsetting. Yeah, he was upsetting. Fuck that shit. Sorry, Jens. You had to go down there for. Oh, and he left. I'm sorry you had to deal with that. But
it's fine.
yeah.
It's fine. Look, it's naivety from that dude. You know what I mean? It's proper naivety. You know, bigotry has not gone. You know, like when Obama was president of the United States, you saw the monkey memes and shit like that. You know, it came out, which is why then his successor ended up being Donald Trump, because he went from one extreme to the other. You know, and I think certain people. Like, I remember even on YouTube videos, one person said, "I just can't vote for a black guy to be my president." Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? You know, it's seeing all this shit. It's just ridiculous. But this is the world we live in. You know, I've experienced racism. I live in this country, dude. We still have groups like the National Front. which is like our KKK. Here as well, we have people like Boris Johnson, who's a proper racist, and we even have what I like to call agents of white supremacy, who are not necessarily white people, but people who fight the white supremacy cause. Like in America, you have Candace Owens and fucking dickheads like that. Oh, it's just me now. Okay, it's just me running the show. Truth is upsetting Soy. That's a shame. There's nothing sorry about what I was explaining, if you're calling me a soy. Jen and why did you let that sci-fi guy on your stream? Got to go, you'll have to entertain me. Alright, well look, as it's just me, I think I'm going to sign off this end of the show. It has been fun, and I look forward to the next one. Take care now. Bye bye.
Yeah, so fight finally gets back, and he tells everyone that the streams hadn't gone down and that it's still running. And he reads out a chat that says there's too much politics in that, which he agrees on. And then this is how much of a dumb cunt he is. Thinks that we were talking about UK politics. Now, I don't know if he just did that to try and cover his ass or he's so fucking dumb he didn't realise. But anyway, I'll let you be the judge of that one. So, then he goes on to say that I bailed, which is a lie, because he kicked me off. And he put me backstage, and I don't know if his computer kicked me off, but either way, would I want to go back on to a stream where there's two fucking social soy fucking justice warriors fucking getting upset when I'm talking about fucking what's happening, and then they're going to shut me off again? Well, anyway, then he says that I'm soy for bailing, which, as I say, I did not bail. As you know, and look back, he kicks me off. He admitted he put me backstage because I was being upsetting for them. Then he talks a load of shit, sort of, as per usual, and sort of closes the stream, which I won't play out. Anyway, I'll play the bit where he calls me out, though, because for some reason, he's thinking that he can say I'm a soy cunt when he kicked me off. Who's the soy cunt? Who's the soy SJW who couldn't handle the truth and got upset? It's you, soy fi fucking SJW fucking nation, bitch.
Well, shit, folks. I guess that's it. My computer crashed because I made something go boom. Anyway, thanks for being here, folks. We're going to call this a stream. Thanks for being here, everybody. Thank you, Jens. Thank you, Nerd 2. And everybody else. Shame you had to leave so fast. Oh, the motherfucker left. Oh, let's bail. It didn't die. I dropped something. I came back. See, that's the problem, Viv. These motherfuckers don't know. Hey, you gotta hang on, man. They don't know. They don't know how to fucking stick in there. They don't know how to fucking stick with shit. They don't know how to do that. Viv also said, I leave with Valor for a nice couple's walk and return to politics. What happened? Fun nerd discussion. Yeah, I know, right? The fuck are these fuckers from the UK talking about? I don't care about UK politics. Something. I don't care. I'm just saying. I don't care about your UK politics. I go away for a minute, and you fucking bail. Jens bailed. I can understand nerd dude. But Jens? Seriously? Really? You're supposed to be like the anti-soy boy. You just act like the biggest soy boy ever fucking seen. Oh my gosh, he fucking did something. I gotta go. That's how you act, but bye. Yeah, that's how you act. Just saying. Just saying. I can present. Look at that. I can present like I'm a bitch.
Oh, which is the biggest threat? Because the New York City Mayor has some regrets about being a sanctuary city, which means it just lets loads of immigrants in, unclassified, undocumented, everything. But then there's, on the other hand, there's Biden telling the Howard University graduates that white supremacy is the most dangerous terror threat. So I'll let you sort of decide. So, is it the bunch of white supremacists who mask themselves up and wear sunglasses and look like they've never ever been in a fight and don't get any hassle from anyone? Even the cops are giving them like security sort of protection. Or would it be the millions of immigrants on the border waiting to come into the Americas and get free welfare and benefits and housing accommodation, which has like made some residents homeless, as one article showed, where veterans were getting kicked out to house the immigrants. But anyway, that's for you to decide. So thanks for watching. Cheers. Bye.